So, how about when it comes to your relationships and being involved with people that may be actually leeching at the energy that you're putting out? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And you know that question, the effect that people have on you will change as you go through this process, as you progress, if you're really doing your homework well. And in the beginning, you're pretty much going to find that if you can witness yourself. Let me back up a second. The key here is to start witnessing your behavior. So you have to become you have to kind of become a self. What is the term I'm looking for?
Self-aware.
Self-aware, but you become self-aware after you start watching yourself. So you have to be able to watch yourself like a third person and say, okay, so I would say, Natalia, this and this is going on. You're behaving like this. Do you notice that this reaction that you're having? Is this an authentic reaction? Where's this coming from? Are you reacting this way because you're resentful, because you're jealous, because it's reminding you of something that your family used to say to you, or so you have to really be so honest with yourself. So honesty is central to this process. If you're really going to just play at this, meaning that you kind of watch yourself but you don't really see what you really need to see, you're never going to get anywhere. You have to be honest. You have to be ready to rip up the old and look at it and say, this is ugly, this is behavior I don't want to be colluding with, and that's an old programmed me reacting to this, so enough of that. I'm not doing that. But change, has its own time. But if you can acknowledge it, acknowledge how how you're behaving and reacting to things, it's the first step. Because our goal is not to change the other person. Our goal is to change ourselves. And the end result, if we flash forward, is if you become sovereign, you're not reacting. Every moment is new. You're in the center. It's like you can't step into a new river twice, the same river twice. You are constantly looking at things from your present state of being, not from yesterday, not from your projections of what tomorrow is going to be. You're in the moment, you're seeing it as it is, and you're being honest, and you're being clear. And you can do no wrong if you're being honest and you're being clear, which is amazing to know. It's almost like when you're playing tag and you call safe. Like there's a safe zone. There's a safe zone for you to behave in a way that will only be life-generating. Even if the other person's feelings get hurt, even if you scare yourself, the chips will fall fine if you're honest and you take full responsibility. So ultimately then you want to get to the point where you're so good at watching your own reactions that you then have power over them. And that's the sovereignty we're talking about. It's, oh, Natalia, really? You're really going to do that? And then you can say back, no, I'm not going to do that because I see myself doing this and it's stupid. And I'm not going to go down that path anymore. I've changed. I don't need that anymore. It doesn't serve me. I can see it doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve the people around me. And I'm done with that. So I can operate from a higher order. What is that higher order? So maybe that day, the highest order you can muster up is to see it, to not have words for it, to walk away from the situation, or it's to sit with it, sit with the other person, make nice. Gil Jacobs always used to call it playing good doorman, when you could just kind of, and then if you think about what a good doorman does, right? Doesn't have any, is never going to say the wrong thing. It's just, hello, how are you? Fine, very good, thank you, have a lovely day. And that may be what you choose to do. But you start to see, you start to acknowledge that your behaviors were coming from reactions before, and those reactions don't serve you or others, and there's a higher order that will serve you and others, and you start to hear that higher order until once you're harmonized, you don't have to do that because you'll feel it viscerally if you're out of harmony. You'll know you shouldn't be acting or communicating when you're out of harmony. It doesn't matter if such and such is in Mercury is in retrograde or whatever. You'll know if you're in retrograde, and you'll be like, okay, Natalia's in retrograde today. We're not communicating because we're out of harmony, and it's basically like taking a loaded weapon out into the world. Not a good idea, right? Don't get behind a car drunk. Don't go out in the world and communicate when you're in retrograde. So this is how you start to gain power, and this is how it becomes totally not about the other person, but about yourself.
That's wonderful. I'm sure a lot of people are going to benefit from that.
It's very
I know I
empowering.
did.
Good, good.